السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأصلي وأسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. بعد, welcome brothers and sisters in our program Prophet Stories. We are talking about the story of Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam, and we mentioned previously what Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam said to his people. How was his da'wah and his way and da'wah. And this is very important, brothers and sisters, that the person who is involved in da'wah work, he should know how was the way of the Prophet, how was the way of all the Prophets alayhi salatu wassalam. We learn many things from the story of Nuh alayhi salatu wassalam. I mean, how to convey the da'wah to others. This is very important, how to advise. Sometimes we need these techniques with the non-Muslims, and sometimes with the Muslims. Sometimes we need these techniques with our children. I mean, you should know how to convey, how to convey the message, how to advise. It is not enough to know the haqq, the right things. It is also very important to know how to convey this message to others. I mean, speaking to a Muslim should be different than speaking to a non-Muslim. Speaking to an old man will be different than a young man. A man different than a woman. This is very important. Speaking to someone who is poor different than the one who is rich. I mean, if you study the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and also all the prophets alayhi salatu wasallam, you will learn how to convey the message in a wise way. So this is the key point, which is wisdom. So what is the meaning of wisdom and da'wah and conveying the message? Is to follow the Prophets alayhi salatu wasalam. For example, when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam one day was with his friends and he saw a man who was very angry. He was very angry, shouting and maybe cursing. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to his companions, I know one word. If this man says this word, he will be okay. سيذهب عنه ما يجد, which means he will be calm. He will not be angry anymore. If he says أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. طيب, if you notice here, brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ did not go to that man and he did not inform him. He said to the companions who were with him. Immediately, one of the companions who heard that from the Prophet ﷺ went to that man and he said, you should say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. Because the Prophet ﷺ said, if you say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم, you will be okay. So immediately that man who was very angry, he said, Abi Junoon, am I crazy? Do you notice anything wrong with me? I have nothing, I have no problem, nothing wrong with me. So we learn from this incident that the Prophet ﷺ did not tell that man directly. Why? Because he knows that this man, if he is in this state while he was very angry, he will not accept the advice. He will reject anything to be said to him. So this is one of the things that we should bear in mind when we give the advice. I mean, the person should be wise and should give the advice in the correct way. Also, another incident, the Prophet ﷺ saw a lady was crying. And she was crying, he knows, because she lost her son. Then the Prophet ﷺ said, Ya Amatullah Spiri, oh the slave of Allah, be patient. The female Amatullah means the female slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be patient. Immediately this woman said, إِلَيْكَ عَنِّي فَإِنَّكَ لَمْ تُصَبْ بِمُصِيبَتِي. Go away. You don't have a calamity like me. Then the Prophet ﷺ went and he did not repeat. So this is a wisdom from the Prophet ﷺ in giving the da'wah. So the point with this incident, the Prophet ﷺ did not repeat again and again. He said it one time. Okay, and he noticed that the lady did not accept. Why? Because she was very sad. He left the lady. Why? Because at the beginning, the Prophet ﷺ doesn't know what will be the reaction of that lady. So when he noticed that she was very sad and she did not accept, he did not repeat. Why? Because if he repeats, The second back, no, you should be patient. This is the qadr of Allah. This is the destiny of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you lost your son. You will not come again to the life. What will happen? Maybe this lady will fight the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and she will disbelieve in the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is the way of the Prophets alayhi salatu wasalam, brothers and sisters, to give the advice in the correct way, correct time. And you know, sometimes you need to be soft. Sometimes you need to be strict and little bit serious. A man came to the masjid and he urinated in the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Can you imagine, brothers and sisters, the masjid, the place where people pray, the place where people respect, place we clean and we keep it clean as much as we can with nice smell. This man came and he urinated in one of the corners of the masjid. Immediately the companions tried to stop this man and to beat him or to shout him. The Prophet ﷺ said, leave him. Don't touch him. Don't tell him anything. Subhanallah. He did a major sin. But the Prophet ﷺ said, stop. He told the companions, don't touch him. When this man finished, the Prophet ﷺ called this man, come. Okay. Why you did this? You don't know that this is the masjid, the place, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is a place where people pray, they make dhikr, they read Quran, they make dua. So this man was very comfortable with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and he loved the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave him the chance to continue and he did not shout him immediately? Because he knows this man is ignorant, he is new in Islam maybe. Or he was not a man from Medina, so he doesn't know the rules of the masjid. So the Prophet ﷺ considered this as an excuse for him. After that, he gave him a nasiha and a soft way, and this man accepted the advice from the Prophet ﷺ. While on the other hand, you notice that the Prophet ﷺ, so there was like a dispute between Mu'adh bin Jabal radiallahu ta'ala and one of the scholars of the companions, one of the great companions. Okay, he prayed in a masjid and he recited Surah Al-Baqarah in Isha Salah. Can you imagine, brothers and sisters? He recited Surah Al-Baqarah about 2 hours or maybe 2.5 hours, reciting Surah Al-Baqarah in Isha Salah. People are tired. So one of the companions, one of the men was very tired and he complained that, "Oh Rasulullah, we are working the whole day, then at the end of the day, Mu'adh bin Jabal recited Surah Al-Baqarah. So I quit the Jama'ah, the congregation, and I prayed alone." The Prophet ﷺ was very angry with Mu'adh. And he was very serious with Mu'adh in his reaction, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, why? If you notice the previous story, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was very soft, but now with Mu'adh, very strict. Okay, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam knows that Mu'adh is a strong companion, and if you speak to him in a harsh way or very strict way, he will be okay. He will accept any advice from the Prophet ﷺ. So this is the wisdom, brothers and sisters, in giving the advice. We learn this from the lives of the stories of the Prophets ﷺ. We'll stop here, brothers and sisters. Continue tomorrow, inshaAllah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.